This is an idea that I had quite a while ago to just kind of give a little bit of credibility and a little bit of meat to the bones of what it is that I do. So without further ado, I guess there's not much of me to see anyway. I'm going to kick off with the presentation. If you need me to stop at any time, please say stop. But I'll crack on. So are you happy for me to do that, David?
Yeah, I'm going to let everybody know because they're talking about it. You cannot see Rick. For some reason, his camera literally just went out. So this is what happens when you're live. This is some of the things that happens, but guess what? This is how you adapt and overcome and improvise. But what you are actually here to see is not necessarily Rick. You can hear him, but you're going to see what he's doing. And we're going to start that right now if you're good with that, Rick.
Yeah, that's all good.
All right, let's get going. So here we go, guys. Go ahead, Rick. It's on the
Okay,
board.
so can you see the slide okay?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So, build a business with me, lead generation case study. First things first. No, there's going to be absolutely zero fluff in this training. As you might have imagined, that's what we're about. We hate fluff. We're not about that. We're just going to go straight into it. And so get your pens at the ready. And yes, I'm going to sell you access to the course. You know, that's what we're here for. That's what I'm here to do. It's not, I don't want you thinking that, you know, oh, is it going to come? Is it going to happen? You know, I'm not one to pussyfoot around and pretend that there's no commercial reason behind this like other course sellers will do. I find it disingenuous and a little insulting. So you don't have to sit there for half an hour wondering, are you going to be sold to? Because the answer is yes. But honestly, I'm confident that you'll be blown away by how simple it can be with the right framework and attitude towards learning that you'll actually want in. So a bit about me. I mean, you guys know, you know, I've ran and built multiple 6, 7, and 8-figure businesses myself. That's where I've been for, you know, the past 5+ years. That's what I've been doing. It's what I'm about. It's, you know, you won't have heard or seen much of me because that's ultimately what I've been doing, you know. But I suppose the big question is, why am I doing this? One thing that's become apparent to me is that while it's easy for me to sit here and say, you know, how great and amazing paid ads are and how learning to leverage the skill properly has changed my life, I wanted to give you all an in-depth look at the process that I follow from start to finish, from just one, and I have to say this again, just one of the monetization options that open up to you with this skill. So this is lead generation, but the reality is you can move into e-commerce, you can look at getting clients, you can do so many things, but I just wanted to give you all a glimpse of just one of the potential monetization options that open up to you once you've got the skill. So I figured what better way to do this than to build a business from concept to delivery, showing you guys each step of the way, my thought process for everything. Behind it all while I'm spending my own money in the hope that it may spark you to do something similar one day and maybe reach your potential. So the idea simply came about from me seeing an ad appear in my newsfeed. But I knew that I wanted to launch a lead generation business. In this instance, the idea for the industry came about from simply browsing the feed. So I know from past experience that these particular leads could be easily generated for a fraction of the price that they were being sold for. So I knew it would be a really lucrative opportunity. Stick around for the end, where I'll also give you my personal list of my top 10 favorite industries for lead generation. So as you can see on the right-hand side, this is the ad that I saw. Popped up on my newsfeed one day. Get your exclusive window and door leads from an industry expert. So this is an ad that's being ran by a lead generator, by a marketer like us, that is supposedly targeting people that want to buy windows and door leads. Now they were saying they were charging £55, which would be about $65-ish, $70. Now I knew that I'd be able to generate them for a lot lower than that. So I got to work. Now the first stage that we follow is investigate. And during this case study, I'll be following the adlabs own ITOS framework. This is unique to us, and it gives you an idea of the whole process that's involved. The first phase of any project that we launch, and any of the AdLab students will say the same, is investigate. That's the I of ITOS. Once I knew what my niche was that I wanted to get right into, I got into creative hacking. So I hit up the ads library for some inspiration, and I'll explain some of the key things that I look for when I'm researching ads. So this is like a little bit of a sneak peek into AdLabs. Now, normally I'd suggest sticking to the principles outlined in the creative lab, but some of these hacks can really shorten your runway, which is handy if you need to get results quick, as it helps to increase the size of the bullseye that you're trying to hit. So this screenshot on the right-hand side, essentially what I've done, I know now I want to generate windows and doors leads. I've gone on to look at some of the top performing ads that are out there. So if you can see here, we all have access to what's called the Facebook ads library. Now, we go into a lot of detail on this within the course. But what this allows you to do when you know how to manipulate it properly is that we can look and see which funnels, which creatives, which companies are all really crushing it on Facebook ads. So I looked at this one, and you can see here that this particular ad for this company, they started running that in 2019. So in August, they've been running this ad for years. Now, that gives me good confidence to know that this particular creative is working for those guys. So I can use that as a benchmark for what I want to do. So it really just reduces that length of time that we need to test, to investigate, to research, to build. Why do we want to do that? We want to work smart, not hard, right? So yeah, and again, this is all outlined in AdLabs, but this is where I first started because I knew that I wanted to get results and I wanted to get results quick. So we move on to test. Once I had an idea for the angles for the creatives based on the research that I'd done, now that was just one example that I showed you there, I got straight to work on building the creative itself. But in order to ensure that I'd reduce the time, not the quality of my creatives, I used my trusty ChatGPT prompt to plan a script and a layout for my video ad with content geared for conversions. Now, I use the information detailed in Audience Labs to get my audiences in place with my campaigns, and then I got straight to work. So this is a sample of one of the ads that I ran, which took, honest to God, it took me no longer than 20 minutes to make. A spoiler, this accounted for all the conversions. The page that I set up to run these ads was just given a generic name. I think it was like Clear Windows and Doors UK. And I purchased a handful of quote unquote likes, essentially people that like the page, to give the ads an initial boost of credibility. Because I'm telling you now, there's nothing that'll kill your ads more than a quote mark that says 0 people like this page. Now that's what shows when you're running ads on certain platforms. It will be a visual representation of your ad in the news feed, and for those people that aren't familiar with your brand, it'll show underneath 0 people like this. So we want to add a little bit of credibility. So now, if all works well, this should play. So you can see we go straight in with an attention-grabbing headline. And then we go into, sorry if this is deafening anyone, by the way, we go into addressing some of the pain points and adding some clear call to actions in there on how we can improve people's lives by engaging with our product and our service. And then we add with a really strong call to action at the end. So it's needless to say, it worked well. Then we got to the observe part of ITOS. So ITOS, we've gone our investigate, and we've done our test phase, and now is to observe. So we've got the data. Now we need to extract it. We need to know what to look for. What are some of the good points within the data? What are some of the bad points? What do we do next? But by this stage, honestly, most of the hard work had been done, believe it or not. I've got my campaigns built, my creatives are in order, all the accounts structured in a way that I can facilitate scale without spending wildly. Now, this was particularly crucial because the cost per lead at this stage would determine just how viable this business was going to be. So I knew that the selling price was going to be around £55 or $65. So I needed to make sure that I was going to have enough margin to make sure I got it right. So it's worth noting here that I've opted to run this particular ad on an on-platform lead generation campaign. So what that means is, you'll have seen it yourself. If you see a lead generation campaign, sometimes somebody will be asking information from you, and they'll click on your ad, and then they'll be shown a form on Facebook or on Instagram, and you'll fill out your information there. So that's an on Facebook lead. Now, the reason I'd opted for this was it just reduced the time to get the tests conducted. I'll explain the pros and cons of each of those. So the first, the aforementioned there, where we're generating leads on Facebook, they're great. You can get a really low cost per lead for this, and Facebook are rewarding you from that because they want to keep people on the site, and they're rewarding you that with cheaper traffic, cheaper cost per click. The downside to that is that you often, the trade-off is that you're getting a lower intent. So the lead quality isn't always as good. But in my experience, depending on the industry, sometimes the difference is that negligible in quality that you're prepared to swallow it because of the saving that you're making on your cost per lead. So the other way that we could generate a lead is on a website. Now, there's platforms that I would recommend. The one that I personally use is Unbounce, and you can create a very, very quick, short one-page landing page that facilitates lead generation. What this allows you to do is to increase the likelihood that that lead is going to be of higher quality. And the reason behind that is they've clicked through to a website, they've read even more information about your brand, and they've then determined that this is for them. The downside to that is that you're going to be paying a bit more per lead, depending on how well your website converts. So you've got to make sure that your website's geared up for conversions really well. So make sure that your form is above the fold, so it's right there for everyone to see. Your call to action button is clearly above the fold. It's in either a bright red, don't do bright red, fuck me, bright orange or bright green, you'll get decent conversion rate out of that. The only other thing that would affect conversion rate than a poor converting landing page is if your ads don't match your landing page. So if you're selling Samsung phones on an ad and you direct them to a website that's selling Apple phones, and people are going to be really confused, and your conversion rate is going to be low. So just bear that in mind. In the industry, we call it topical flow, and that is that the messaging within your ads flows nicely through to your landing page. And it's one thing to really bear in mind. So now I sit back and monitor the performance closely and see what works and what doesn't. So there's the page that I set up, Clear Windows and Doors UK. That is a snapshot of the campaign. As you can see, in this particular test, we generated in this campaign, we had 82 leads at £6.44, which is about $8. And that's a snapshot of the ads there. You can see that video ad was really crushing it for us. It was doing well. Now is where we would typically come to scaling it. So we're getting the results. It's working well. We want to scale up. I've beaten myself there. But as this is a test that I'm going to kill. So again, I'll just go back over, the reason for me wanting to do this. I built this to show you guys, this is all in the interest of education. Like I was that confident. It was a ballsy move on my part, because I could have really been left with egg on my face if this didn't work. But I was that confident in knowing that there was plenty of margin in those leads to make it work, that I was prepared to put my money where my mouth is. So it seems crazy to think that somebody would build a business that could potentially be generating tens of thousands a month or hundreds of thousands a year to kill. But the reality is, when you've got the skill to be able to do it, it's just another thing. Do you know what I mean? So I wanted to build this to empower you guys to maybe spark that interest and think, do you know what? Yeah, there's industries that I could look at to generate leads, or I can see what Rick's done there. He's taken this idea from concept and he's generating a shitload of money out of it. I'm going to go and do the same. It's, or, I'm going to do it for a client and, and earn, 5-10 grand a month out of. The reality is the root cause of all of it is the skill that you'll harness by doing this. So yeah, again, it seems, and it was quite painful for me to want to kill it at the end, but the reality is I really didn't put that much work into it. Okay, there was getting the ads ready and building the campaign, but once that was done, it was fairly light touch. So, in essence, this is the part of ITOS. So this is the scale part. But in this particular case, I'm not interested in scaling. It's not something that I'm thinking future term for this. Instead, now I know my approximate cost price per lead, I can take the products to market. So if I were thinking long term with this, I'd be running ad campaigns targeting people that would likely buy the leads to scale out locally, but nationally. This would reduce the dependency and the single point of failure. So essentially what I would do with this now is I would run ads targeting people that work in this industry nationally, like across the country. And I would look at the leads that are coming in the hope that I could build a network of people to sell these leads to across the country. So there'll be, or if it was in America, it'd be state by state. You might have a buyer in, Chicago, New York, wherever. The other way to do it, and I've done both, is you can opt for a national buyer. So what I found with national buyers are they're amazing in terms of how much they want to scale it up, and they'll buy serious amounts of leads from you. In some cases, there's no end. They'll say, just keep generating those leads and we'll tell you when to stop. But they want exclusivity over it because they're a national company and they don't want you sending leads elsewhere. So sometimes it's worth taking a step back and thinking, I could sell this to 100 windows and doors companies, these leads to 100 windows and doors companies, and simply just copy and paste or add in a location in my campaigns to start sending leads to them. And then I could start weighting the leads going to the ones that are generating me most because they're converting them better. They might want to pay you a higher price per lead. But again, it's that reducing dependency and single point of failure. So not only is it the exclusivity that the big boys want over you, but let's say something happens and they turn you off. You've got a lot of leads there to generate that you've got to now find a buyer for. Whereas if you spread yourself out and you've got multiple people purchasing your leads and one turns you off, well, your business isn't gone overnight. So for my particular experiment, I literally just searched windows and doors companies on web directories, sent out some emails, made a few calls, and honestly, it took me no longer than an hour before I had a few bites. I mean, who doesn't want more business in a declining economy, right? It's the easiest thing to sell. So as you can see from a snapshot of this email, after a look, this is one email, by the way. There was quite a few after the test had gone on. People started getting back to me. I'd agreed a cost per lead deal for 5 leads a day, so it's not a huge amount, at £40 a lead. So that's approximately £5 grand a month profit. That's pounds, it's probably about 6,000-7,000 US. With an initial order of 50 leads, moving to 5 a day, 150 a month. So I don't know if you can see the conversation here. So this was after I'd got all the leads in place and I had a sample batch. What I did was I got the sample first and then I'd sent it out to a few people. Stephanie was that person that I'd spoken to, said blah, blah, blah. We're selling for £40. Here's a sample. Let me know what you think. She replied that she'd got the sample through. She would work back on them, and she responded saying they were okay. They were reasonably impressed. They got hold of a good portion of them. They had one had booked for a face-to-face, and they had a few callbacks. So they didn't straight away commit to 100 odd leads per day, but they could commit to 50, which was really good. But I know, speaking to them, that they would have gone to the next level with that, and they would have, scaled it up and, and all the rest of it. So
interrupt you just for a second. Since this is for the sake of education and everything else, and this was a test, can you give them a perspective on how long it took for this?
Sure. Longer than I would have liked, but it was, to be honest, when it's something that you're just doing leisurely, there was no real need for me to really push this. The build part of the build phase of the campaign was probably about an hour. So that was for me to research, stick my prompt into ChatGPT to design my ad for me, essentially design my video ad for me, build that ad, which is super easy in platforms like Canva and CapCut, which we go over in the Creative Lab, and then building and launching their campaigns. It was around about an hour, and then there was monitoring as we go through in adlabs. But the grand scheme, in all honesty, it was about an hour's work, and then the outreach itself was probably about an hour, I would say. And it was just sending out a few emails. I didn't do anything special. I didn't do anything crazy. It was just going after some local people. And I think that, keeping it local or making people think that you're local does add a bit of credibility. I think there's a lot of like national sellers out there, like the ones that I saw, that people think it's a bit of a hard sell, but if it's somebody that they think is local, they're more receptive to want to keep it local. So yeah, I'm probably half a day's work maximum, and that's half a day from finding the industry, researching what ads work well for this particular industry. Now, you may already know, or you may already have an idea of what you think is going to work well in an industry if you've got some experience with it. Me personally, windows and doors is not really something I'm massively familiar with. So, there's no issues with that whatsoever. I use some of the hacks that we include in adlabs to find out what's working well for others. And I reverse engineered their funnels. It's the way it goes. People are going to reverse engineer yours. So yeah, I got straight to it. Now, if this was something more longer term, I might want to put a little bit more work in, maybe look to build out a landing page as well, which might be another 2 or 3 hours work. And then I can split test the cost and the quality of the landing page leads versus the on Facebook leads. And then we can gauge which offers the best yield for us as sellers. But this is if I was looking to scale it up and perhaps take it to 50 grand a month plus, then it'd be definitely worthwhile that. So yeah.
And you said this was about £5,000 for the month. Is that right?
Yeah, profit. Yeah.
Which is $6,000 to $7,000 American.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every month as well, and that's one buyer.
Guys, if you like that, love that, hit the love button, because that is what it's all about. Time saving, not killing yourself, and making a profit.
That's what it's about. It's for me, it's all about being time rich. And a lot of people aren't, people are very time poor nowadays. So when you're looking at getting involved with, and I'm going broader than ads here and Facebook ads, if you're looking at a source of income, you can look at things that are going to, take you a lot of time or take you, very little time. And what drew me to paid ads was the speed of it and how quickly you can get results. And then once it's set up, it's kind of set and forget. So, I've got e-com sites that I'm running that have been for best part years. I've had, virtually identical ads that are running that, I don't have to do much for it, especially for some clients, it's set and forget. So I knew if I was looking to take this to the next level, I would go out and I'd refine the leads a bit more. I'd perhaps look to test the quality and the cost of some landing page leads as well. And then I would look to get 2 or 3 more buyers and then look to really scale that out. And then once you've got your buyers in place, You know, that $5,000 a month, that's $7,000 a month, that could easily be, 10x that easily, 50, 70 grand a month. And all your work's done in the front end,
And I don't know if you can see me or not, but this is the point where I'm just like, here, take my wallet.
I can't see you because I'm on full screen mode, but I know what you're doing. Yeah.
That's amazing.
As soon as I come off full screen mode, I'll try and figure out my camera, see what's going on there. I don't know. My computer just had a crazy blip, but yeah. So in terms of time, yeah, it's incredible, and it's not. And I don't want. While I want to sort of show you and showcase lead generation and how lucrative it can be in terms of the money that you can make versus the time that you need to put in, it's just one of the monetization options. The same can be said for e-commerce, the same can be said for getting a client, the same can be said for so many other things that you can wish to do. But this is just one, plucked out of thin air, literally just popped up in my newsfeed one day. I'm like, yep, that'll do. And here we are now. We've built an entire business off it. We've done a case study. I've thrown my own money at it to show you guys just how it's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. We help with that, with AdLabs, with the course. If I was to want to do this and somebody turned around to me and said, you can generate leads for this industry and earn $40 per lead, that's simple. But where do I start? And that's the bit that's not easy for a lot of people, but we make it easy, or as easy as we possibly can, with the right framework and a good course that's structured well, easy to digest, that anybody can pick up and do, no matter what experience level you've got. So that's what AdLabs is about. So that leads us nicely on to, are you ready to take things to the next level yet? So there we go, we are live. I'll run through top lead gen niches in the next slide. I promised you before I'd give you my personal top 10 industries that I would go after, some of which I have gone after in the next slide. But before I do, I wanted to say a big thank you for joining me today. It genuinely means a lot. Anybody that knows me, that has been on my coaching calls and things like that, I appreciate everybody, no matter whether you're just here to kind of get some knowledge out of it, whether you're here because you're thinking about joining AdLabs, whether you're a member of AdLabs and you want to just get a little bit more from us. I appreciate everyone. And we wanted to, this isn't just me, this is the team, wanted to offer you a small gift for doing so. So if this is for the people that are still on the fence about joining AdLabs and what it can do for you, if you are, I'd like to offer the first 10 people who joined today, only today, 3 things. Firstly, access to the entire AdLabs course, right? This is where we'll go through everything I've done today, but in super high detail. It explains everything. It's the how. We've been through the what, but this is the how. And we'll give you instant access to all the labs, which I'll explain briefly. I won't explain all of them, but we've got the creative labs where we'll talk to you exactly how to build your own creatives, start to finish. We've got the funnel labs where we'll teach you how to build high ticket, low ticket e-commerce funnels. We'll teach you how to reverse engineer your competitors' funnels. We've got the audience labs where you'll do the same. You can pull up with it. There's so much, but it's structured in a way that I killed myself to make because I didn't want it to be an hour upon hour long waffle-a-thon where I just sit and record myself talking aimlessly. I wanted it to be structured and you get the information that you need. And if you need it again, you can easily find it and revise it. And it's not sheets and sheets and sheets of written documents either. It's video content. It's what we're all used to. So it's all video. So you'll get access to all of that. Secondly, I'm going to give you all, and I'm going to piss off the management team, a year's access free to my bi-weekly coaching and private group, where you'll have access to me to ask any questions you like. We normally charge $1,500. That's like $14.97, I think. But if you join today, you'll get it for free. Our current members on this live, webinar will no doubt, hopefully comment, what they think. I won't say how good or bad you think it is. They'll comment what they think below now, hopefully. But from the feedback that I've been getting, people are calling it game changing. They're loving it, and I love it. There's one more thing. I feel like I'm doing an Apple event here. One more thing. Lastly, I'm going to give you all, anybody that decides to join today, a totally done for you package. To kick off, if you want, your own lead generation business. Whether you want to use this to assist your business that you may already have, a client's business, or if you want to start doing lead generation yourself. This includes, and I'm not going to do one of those where this is $5,000, this is $28,000, you know, use $1 million worth of, it's just, you'll know the value of it. My own pre-built done for you video ad templates. That's the video ad that you saw there. There'll be a story version and a feed version ready for you to just go in and work with straight away. We know it converts well. A deep dive into my personal targeting for this case study. So I'll show you the audience, the audiences that we were targeting. The thought process behind some of the audiences that we were targeting to get the results that we were. My own ChatGPT prompt. Now, this is fucking valuable, right? My own ChatGPT prompt to create high-level converting video ads. Before I started using this, right, even before ChatGPT, you'd be talking like you either got to go to a VA and you've got to rip it apart, and they're bringing you, you know, these videos that are shit, and you know that you're pulling your hair out with. It's just a nightmare to deal with. And then ChatGPT comes along, and then you've got to kind of go through 10 or 20 prompts to kind of start to get the right thing that you want out of it. It's great and it saves you work, but in the end, you're like, am I really saving work? Because I've had to ask it 50 questions. But this is a refined prompt that I've got where you literally just paste the industry that you want to go after, and it spits you out slide by slide. So that video ad that you saw there, where it's each frame by frame, I suppose. Frame one, a video of a guy shivering with this text overlay, and that's your attention-grabbing headline. And then it moves into the pain points, and then the USPs, and then the call to action, all that, all done for you. It literally spits it out. So all you need to do is copy and paste that into Canva or CapCut. Amazing. A list of untapped niches for lead gen. So I'm going to show you my personal favorites. Some of them are quite popular, but there are a list out there that, in my experience, are relatively untapped. So these could be quite lucrative options for you that you might want to look to go after, either for clients within that particular sector, or if you want to do it yourself. I'll also give you my own personal cold email and closing script for getting lead buyers. So this is, let's say, if you want to start out small, you want to reach out locally. So these are the emails that I was sending out to get responses back. And this is, I've actually built out a little bit more to it. So I've got a couple of follow-up emails that I've built on the back of what I've done. I didn't need to do that, but if you were scaling out, you might want to do that. And again, this is for the first 10 people only. Comment me below. We'll send you an order form. First come, first served. We don't want to overpromise it. We don't want to oversell it, anything like that. If you're interested, drop a me below, and David, Amanda, someone will reach out to you and get an order form sent out to you. Existing members, do not worry. You'll get all of this for free in your course syllable shortly. If it's not there now, it'll probably be there tomorrow your time in Thinkific. So if you just log in. And again, this is great for potential new members to see as well, that as we're constantly updating the content within adlabs, this isn't just something that new members benefit from, because I always find that a bit shitty when you sign up to something, you're like, oh, you always see what the new members are getting, and they're getting access to all this new shiny new done for you packages and all that. Existing members, you've got it all. Now, the top 10 lead gen niches. I did promise you. Here we go.
Let me interrupt you real quick. We got one Facebook user who says, "Me, I need to see your names. If you are replying with me, I need to see your names."
Oh yeah, do that. I have no idea.
You can't see nothing.
I can't see. I'm completely blind.
Well, I got your back.
Thanks, Dave. Thank you. So, as promised, here's my list of my personal top 10 industries and sectors to go after for lead generation. And there's a number of reasons why these are either niches that I've been in personally myself, so there's value to that, or these are ones that have got a relatively low competition rate, but also a high potential rate for generating mass volume of leads, which is ultimately going to generate you fucking mass volume of money. So take a picture, write it down, do whatever you want. This is gold. Dental practices. I have personally generated leads for dental practices. I won't go into the whys of each one because I'll be here all night, but a couple of them I'll pick out. High ticket item. And yeah, really, really easy to, you can target people that eat certain foods that you used to be able to target people that smoke. But yeah, people that like red wine or sugary drinks and things like that, you can go after those types of people. So it's easy to generate leads for people for this, but the product itself and the service that they're delivering is super high ticket. So they'll pay a shitload of money for leads. Restaurants. So this is, again, I've done this personally myself. It's one that always works really well. It's something that you could either do on as a client basis or as a cost per lead. If a restaurant has got, quite a high order value, they'll pay you like $10, $15 a lead. These are leads that you can generate for literally, a few bucks. So you'll be generating a little bit less profit per lead compared to other industries, but you'll be able to generate a lot more volume. Gyms and personal trainers, again, just incredible. It does have its peaks and troughs, seasonality. Obviously, in the run up to summer, it's really busy, and then it lulls off over winter, and then back in again in January, it kicks back off. But the reason that gyms are prepared to pay quite a lot of money for a lead is that they tie them into a membership. So it's not just, let's say it's $40, $50 a month for a gym membership. They're tying them into a 12-month contract. So that's like $550, $600, whatever it may be. So they're prepared to pay for these people. And again, the targeting on it, really easy. Law services, again, sorry, this is a biased list. It's something I've done before. It's something I still do. Think specific. So if it's a certain, so law is a very general service, legal is very general, but you can get really specific within there. There's divorce lawyers, there's personal injury, there's so many. And again, just think, I'm not going to say too many because I'm just going to give you all my niches. Health therapists, physical and mental. Again, it's a really good one, particularly mental health therapists. Right now, it's almost at pandemic levels. So, these guys like, local counselors and psychiatrists and whatnot, again, being cynical and not looking at it nicely, these people are quite easy to target on social media. Gardening services is another one. So in the UK, it's like landscaping. In the US, it might be like overhauling your yard or, or whatever. But again, it's really high ticket. It's not as easy to target that, but that's what makes it lucrative because it puts a lot of marketers off, particularly the shit ones. But what we do in adlabs is there's one particular section in the value lab right at the end, which is how to target the untargetables. So if I'm going to tell you, don't care. So this is, now you're getting a sneak peek into adlabs. Sorry for my language, I get excited. So how to target the untargetables. So if I were running leads for a gardening service as an example, well, this could be anything. Let's use gardening or roofing or something like that. Something that pretty much everybody's got. How do you target somebody that's going to need it? So what we do is we create a video remarketing funnel. Now, if you're going looking for gardening service leads within which city are you in? Oh, I just need a random city.
Orlando, Florida.
Orlando, yeah. You're looking at gardening in Orlando. Well, there's a lot of people in there. What I would do is target everybody in a certain age range within Orlando with a explanatory video ad explaining what your service is. Obviously, get your headline in there quick to get people qualified quick, and then take them on a little bit of a journey through your video. It will be 20 to 30 seconds long. 90% of people that are going to see your video ad are going to ignore it. It's not for them, but that's great. We want the 10% of people, or 10 to 20% of people that watch that video right the way through to know, these are the people that we want to target. Now, the beauty of this particular method of targeting the untargetables, or whatever you want to call it, is that we run that first ad as a video view campaign. So I won't go into too much specifics about the different types of campaigns that you can run on Facebook, but running ads when you're optimizing just for people to watch a video is dirt cheap. So what you're getting is that 10 to 20% of people that have engaged with the video right to the end. It's cost you nothing. So you've got a list of the exact people you want to target for a fraction of the cost of going through all the pain of trying to target them directly. But then you can go one step further. And what we suggest to do is to create what's called a lookalike audience of the top 10% of people or 20% of people that have watched that video. Then Facebook will say, hey, yeah, I know I've got all these data sets behind the scenes that I'm never going to give you dirty marketers access to. But I'm going to tell you the closest 1 million people, or however it may be, in this area that are similar to those that have watched that video all the way through. Honest to God, the value behind that is incredible. That is one of, I don't know, 80 videos, 100 videos within AdLabs. So that's a sense of the value that you're going to get from it. I'm gonna try and whittle through these last ones a little bit quicker because I want to add a Q&A at the end.
Well, before you do that, guys, the spots are filling up already. As Rick said, we got 10 today. So if you want to get in, please make sure you do. But the spots are filling up pretty quick, okay? Go ahead, Rick.
Cheers, Dave. Yeah, building services, again, for obvious reasons, similar to gardening services. Private tuition, a really good one. So many people overlook it, but it's so powerful. Private tuition is just, it's something that's increasing more and more now that, kids are being drawn more towards the gaming consoles and things like that. Their work suffering. Private tuition is great and it's high ticket as well. Accountants. So this works well in the UK. I'm assuming it'll be well in the US as well. It's something that in the UK people pay monthly for an accountant, or you can pay a shitload of money over the year. But again, it's a service-based solution that they're offering. So they've got high margins in it. So they're going to pay you a lot of money for a lead.
Hey, Rick. There's some feedback coming from your computer that's interrupting the sound. They can't hear you.
Okay, one sec. Bear with me, guys. Can you hear me now? Is that okay?
It sounds okay. So we got some. Okay. We got some 10-4s. Everything is fine now. And your video's back. Hello, welcome back.
Hi. I don't know what's happened. Okay, so the last one is tattoo studios. Again, these are niches that people don't initially think of straight away. But tattoo studios is a great one. These particularly is service-based. So there's no real product that's involved aside from, maybe they rent a room or a bit of ink, but they'll pay a shitload of money for it. And it's great and they're so easy to run. That's a little hidden gem. I'm not going to say any more on that one. Q&A, next steps. So next steps, if you want in, comment. I can't remember what I said. I'm in, whatever. I want to buy, we'll pick it up. Comment that below and we'll get straight back to you. Those slots will fill up. And the reason that we have to keep it limited is because I'm offering the free coaching included, and we can't just offer that out to, hundreds of thousands of people. It's just it'd make it too unmanageable. So we have to keep it close knit, but hopefully you guys will understand. I can stop sharing my screen now and answer some Q&As, or keep it on this. And I don't know. I don't know if you can flag some questions for me, David. I can't see anything.
Let's see. If you guys have questions, go ahead and ask away. I'm going to search.
Sorry if I look like shit. It's like cracking on for midnight here. But I hope you've had fun. I hope you've all got something out of it. New members, old members, on the fence members. You know, this is something that I planned for a while to do. It's something that I was like, shit. I told people I was going to do it before I did it. So my balls were on the line with it, whether it was going to work or not. But yeah, it worked.
Well, I'm going to say there's no questions. It's just the impression I get from everybody is everybody's jaw is on the floor.
I feel like I'm drinking from a fire hydrant. What does that mean? I'm going to take that as a compliment. Thank you, Facebook user.
I think it's soaking it all in.
Yeah, no, it's it's all good. Yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone may
Melissa
have.
wants to know if you can adopt her.
I've got enough with my own kids. But yeah, you can have me once every other week. I'm yours. I'm yours. Jump on that. I think is that Melissa Calloway?
Mm-hmm.
She's a great girl.
She's awesome. I mean, we go hang out with her every now and again. So she's
you guys know each other, yeah.
Yep. I've known Melissa for about 14 years now.
Oh wow.
Her and her husband.
Oh. So I can see a few questions within StreamYard. Do you want me to go in and answer those, David?
I did not see any questions on my side. Go ahead. If you see them, go ahead.
Yeah, so one from Bright. So this is, I'm on the spot. I've not pre-read it. So Rick, how do you cold call these industries, or how do they come to you? Thanks for staying up so late. So hi, Brian. I literally just went on some local directories and looked. If you were thinking of it long term, you could create ad campaigns targeting people that work in this industry. And then just simply reach out to them. But the reality is, this is the easy part in my experience, because if providing you pick an industry that is in demand, then people are going to want these leads. If it's things that are evergreen and things, like car or finance or car finance, these are things that will always have a high demand for them. So you never really struggle with having to sell leads. So yeah, I hope that helps. I'm scrolling through. This is amazing, Rook. You are welcome. How much did you invest in the test of this case? So I think probably spent about $1,000 all in all. I think thereabouts we'd spent. It probably works out. That's $800 there. But yeah, it was an amount of money that I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna do it. If hopefully it works. Hopefully we get it. But the thing that gave me confidence, as I'd already committed, was that there was people that were generating enough leads that they needed to run ads to sell them. So I knew that there was a demand there for it. The amount that they were selling it for, so they were selling it for 65. So I was undercutting them and still making a healthy profit with it. And then I was looking at when I did the hack, when I was reverse engineering the competitors' funnels, I could see that some of the ads had been running for years. So I knew that there was demand for it, that people with, dare I say it, crap ads were seemingly doing well from it. So I was like, right, I'm really confident with this. So yeah.
Well done. Any other questions? Tommy, is that I have a question or statement?
Miller. Thanks, Mill.
This was absolutely amazing. I was like blown away. I from everything that I'm seeing, everybody was very happy with it. If you guys like it, put a 1 in a 1 in the comments with an exclamation point. How do people get paid per lead commission up front? Is Tommy's question.
Hiya, Tommy. How do people get paid per lead commission up front? Sorry, your message keeps disappearing with all the ones. I'm loving it. Thank you, everyone. So I'll get money up front for an amount of leads. So again, I could have probably touched on this a little bit more in the case study. How I would personally do it is you need to test, right? When you've got an industry that you're going to go into, you need to know how much these leads are going to cost you, right? So to do that, you need to set up an ad campaign. You need to run it. You need to run it for a little while and let it stabilize and know what your cost is. So how can you sell it? You know, you say, all right, I'm going to sell you these leads for $30, but if they cost you $35, you know, bad business. So you would typically run it yourself for a little while. I would usually give it at least a week of getting these results in. And then once you've got a good idea of a stable cost per lead, then you can start reaching out to people. What I would then do is those leads that you've been generating to gauge your cost per lead, offer it out as a freebie. You know, people are going to really resonate with that. A business is going to go, well, you know, these people are putting their money where their mouth is. They're giving me free leads that are potentially worth $50 each, and they might give me, you know, 10 or 100 or, you know, whatever. And we go, yeah, we want you to sample our work. And obviously you know, we are that confident in the leads that we're generating that they've been sold properly via the video ad and all the rest of it, everything else that we cover in adlabs, that yeah, it really opens doors. So I'd gotten a chunk of leads, and I'd chop them up into a few sections, and I'd sent them out. And to be honest, I could have got 10, 20 times the amount of buyers for this product. No issues whatsoever. It was, you know, the leads were being generated for a good price. This particular, I don't know if you remember, if I have a look on the ad, actually on the slide, they'd actually said, I think that's about right, on that original ad that I'd seen that had given me the idea to do this, the average order value was just under $5,000. So for them to pay $50, $60, whatever it was for a lead, for something that's $6,000, $7,000 US, they don't have to close that many leads for it to be super profitable for them. So, you know, and then once we get a bit of, so this is where the exciting thing happens is you've got one or two roads you can go down. And this is what I do. I'm getting really like next level with this now, but you know, we're on a roll. There's two ways that you can sell leads. You can sell them on the front end or on a back end deal. So on a front end deal, you're simply being paid a cost per lead. It's a flat rate. No, you don't care how many convert at the back end. None of your business. You're getting paid per lead. So that's what I did there. It's nice and simple. It's easy to work out. However, once we start getting a bit of intel from these guys, and you know, we can say that, oh, how are our leads converting? You know, we just want to know that that you're getting value for money. And they go, oh yeah, well, you know, like 1 in 10 will go through to a purchase, and that's worth $5,000 for us. You're right. Okay, so 1 in 10 is worth $5,000, and I'm selling you them for $50 each. So that's $500 that it's costing them to generate a sale for $5,000. This is just a ballpark. I could then turn around to another supplier and say, would you do a back end deal with me? Now, a back end deal is where you get paid when the job has been done, when the customer is actually purchased. So you don't get any money on the front end for your leads, you get paid on the back end. Now, you could turn around to someone and say, I'll give you these leads for free if you give me $1,000 on the back end. And they'll go, yeah, there's no risk for me. I only have to pay out when a customer's paid. But because we know what the conversion is for these leads, with option A, we were getting $500 for those leads, 10 leads at $50. If we go to these guys and say, I'll send you 10 leads, knowing that one's going to convert, I'm going to get $1,000 for it. We've doubled our revenue. So that's where it gets exciting. So that's where you can take a lead generation business overnight. This could have been another fucking slide. A lead generation business overnight from $100,000 a month to $200,000 a month without doing anything else. You're just selling them in a different way. What you will find it hard to do is to sell it to somebody who you've been selling on a front end deal to then turn around and say, "Oh, do you want to pay me $1,000 on the back end?" And they'll go, "No, because we know it. We'll get it for $500." So you may have to go and find another supplier for that. But you can get really, really creative with it. So yeah, 2 ways: front end, back end. Front end is nice and easy. It's clear. You understand where it's at. Back end, there's a little bit more pressure on you to get the quality right. I would definitely suggest doing that after running it for 6 to 12 months. Once you know the industry, you know the buyer, you can get all this out of people, out of your buyers, and get all this knowledge, and then I can go away and double your money overnight, or if not more. So sorry, that was a really long-winded way of answering that question. I forgot. I was thinking it was Tommy, wasn't it? I hope that helps, Tom. I want some more questions now. I'm on a roll.
Any more questions, guys? Any more?
Yeah, any more for any more? So, yeah, it's again, just to reiterate, this have we got many people watching? Actually, I don't know.
We got 33 right now that I can see.
Wow. Well, hello everyone. Thanks for staying with me. I'm not one for these kind of things. I don't typically, I'm not. Yeah, I don't like putting myself out there. As many of you guys know, the people that know me know. But yeah, going back to me and who I am, for those people that don't know, you don't see me with loads of bloody two Comma Clubs awards behind me, and gold Rolexes, fucking, McLarens. That's not me. It's not who I am. And for me personally, the reason is that, honestly, I don't have a point to prove. And you see a lot of these people on social, and each to their own. But if I had a 2 Comma Club award for every $1 million I'd earned online, my house isn't big enough.
Did you notice what I did?
Huh?
Can you see me?
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Oh, have you got one?
Yeah, I took it off the wall.
Oh.
I had to put my calendar somewhere.
Well, do you know what? That's just it for me. I don't, and each to their own. I'm not saying don't do that, but I would much rather let how I feel, how the money I earn. I'd let that be my guide for success. I'm never one that's going to be like, you see these like cringeworthy ads on Facebook from gurus, hopping out of a rented Lamborghini, and I wouldn't insult your intelligence to make you think that that you can live this life too. You live your life however the fuck you want. If freedom to you is getting up at 10, going to sleep at 2, going and playing golf in the afternoon, doing a few hours in the morning, I would love to help you get that. If freedom to you is being able to go on vacation with the kids whenever, wherever, then that's great. If freedom to you is having a McLaren and riding it into the sunset and having 5 Rolexes on each wrist, then that's great. We'll help you. But I'm not a point prover. I don't have a point to prove. I'd like to think that now, after you guys have seen just a snippet into my mind and what this course and what I can do is, you realize I don't have a point to prove. I don't need any of that. There's none of the flash stuff. So, yeah.
So, guys, only a few spots left. If you want to get in, John, get her done. Because guys, you guys are taking away knowledge. Look at. I can't even because the knowledge is there. The knowledge is the best that I've ever seen. I've been in the online industry for 2 years, and even just now, what he is talking about blew my mind. I was like, dude, what?
Yeah, I and again, just to reiterate, this is one earning avenue of many that paid ads, and and learning how to leverage Facebook ads really can give you. It's not something that you necessarily need to go in at straight away, and and go straight into lead gen. There's so many different angles. This is just, for me, the reason I love it so much is I hate having one thing, a single point of failure. So when I first started getting going with it, I'd have a client or two, I would have an e-com site bubbling away, I'd be selling some leads. But the reality is, day in, day out, I'd be looking at one interface, I'd be looking at one screen, and that'd be my ads manager. I'd come in and that's all I'd see. It would be like I'd be going into the Matrix, I'd be like Neo, and I would just go in and that's all I would see. But I would switch between pages, and one would be generating me money from leads, one would be generating me money from client revenue, one might be some consulting that I'm doing, another is my own e-com site, and collectively they, or individually they might not be amounting to much. You might be earning a few grand a day, a few grand a day or a few grand a month, whatever it is that you want to earn out of each of those. But collectively they really compound, and yeah.
So we have a woman who is late. His name is Nate. He says, sorry I was late. What are the spots for, and what is the offer? I believe he's asking.
So the slots, I'll go back. So essentially, I hope this is the Nate that I think it is.
Nate Carbon. Yep.
So we're going to offer you a totally, in fact, there's three things that you're going to get. The first is access to the entire AdLabs course, where we're going to go through everything that I've gone through today, but in super high detail. You'll get instant access to all the labs, the creative lab, the audience lab, the campaign lab, the value lab, all those labs where they individually teach you exactly what you need from A to Z. So you're going to get access to all of that. So that's essentially the AdLabs course. Second, I'm going to give you all a year's access to my bi-weekly coaching and private group, where you'll have access to ask any questions you want. There's nothing off the table, sexual, financial, spiritual. I'm joking, keep it ads. This is usually $1,500, but if you were to join today, you would get it for free. This is today. This isn't something that we're going to extend to loads of people, because I wouldn't be able to offer the support to that many people. And again, our current members hopefully will vouch for us and say, give an honest review in the comments, what they think of it. But then in addition to that, the third thing that you will get is a totally done for you package to kick off a lead generation business, whether you want to use it to assist your business now, if you've already got a business you want to generate some leads for, a client's business that you might have that they want to pay you to generate leads for them, or start doing lead generation yourself like I did in the video. There'll be a replay available, but essentially what I did, I saw an ad for windows and doors, or somebody that was selling leads for windows and doors, and they were selling them for about $65, $70. I thought, fuck, I can generate those leads a lot cheaper. I know it. I did. I went and generated those leads for about $8, found a buyer for $50. The rest is history. And then I closed the business. So I've stopped generating the leads. I've sent over a batch of freebies to the buyer. But this wasn't about me. It wasn't about building a business for me. This was about you guys seeing my thought process and building it with me from start to finish, so that you know the process, you know what we're doing. But for those that aren't a member, we're going to show you how to do it. But not only that, I'm going to hold your hand with some pre-built, done-for-you video ad templates. This is the ad template that I generated or that I built. So you can use that as a template, drag and drop, change the text, do whatever you need. A deep dive into my targeting for this case study. So that's amazing. That shows you the audiences we're targeting, the thought process behind it, the ChatGPT prompt that I use to create high converting video ads over and over and over again. Literally 1 second, copy paste, insert your industry, done. You've got your entire video built for you from start to finish, slide by slide. It's incredible. A list of untapped niches for lead generation. So within here, I've gone through my personal favorite, but there's also a list of untapped niches, and then my cold email and closing script for getting lead buyers. so I can breathe. So that's what there's a lot. Essentially, there's a lot. So that's what you guys are going to get. So yeah, there's a few more questions if that's okay.
Yes, there is. And Nate says that thank you for explaining. I'm in. So he's just taking another spot. A Facebook user, unknown name. I have to check the Facebook. But can you guys please tell me if you have never worked online? Could you do this? Sorry, I'm late.
The short answer is yes, you can. And the way that AdLabs has been designed is that we go from start to finish. So the very first of all, there's no fluff, there's no crap mindset bullshit. And I've said this quite a few times now, that how many times have you bought a course, $4 grand, $5 grand, $6 grand, whatever it may be, and the first 20-30% of it is all, we've got to get your mindset right. We've got to get your mindset. Well, my fucking mindset is right. I've just spent $6 grand on your course. I'm ready. I don't need you to tell me that I'm not ready. I am ready. So we cut that. It's an insult. You want to get straight to it. So we go straight into the fundamentals, the basics. So how to set up your ads manager, your business manager, and then we go through how to make an ad, how to build a campaign. But not only that, I'll do it with you step by step. So I'll record myself making an ad. I'll record myself making a creative from start to finish, building a campaign from start to finish. So if you want, you can literally play, pause. And these are the same, right? I've got to say this now. Everything in AdLabs, everything, I'm hiding nothing. Everything in there is the exact same stuff that I use to build 6, 7, 8-figure brands, not of anyone else's, of my fucking own, right? So that's where I've been for the last 10 years. I've not been selling courses. I've not been pretending I'm a guru or anything like that. I've been spending millions upon millions, countless millions of dollars of my own money, of clients' money, in refining it. So you're in safe hands, essentially. So yes, anybody can do it. I went from complete newbie. I'd never launched an ad campaign before. I did it the hard way. But the good thing is I've seen how it shouldn't be done. And I'd like to think I can explain it quite well. And I think we've actually had a comment here that from Melissa. Thanks, Melissa, saying straight out of the gate, I was confident to go after clients with all the support and knowledge that I acquired. That I was running ads and getting roughly 10 to 15 leads a week. That's incredible, So yeah, but in addition to that, if you purchase today, you're going to get access to the bi-weekly training. So that's access. So let's say you've done all the course, you've done it 10 times over, and you still don't know what to do. I'm there. Ask any question you want. I'll go through it with you. So you've no need to be concerned in that regard. So long story short, anyone can do it. I did see another question before. I am learning and building out 2 tests now. One for, I'm not going to say your niches, but good luck. I'm not going to say your niches because there's some very fucking hungry marketers in this group. So but they are good. They are, particularly the first one there. That's that's a good one. You'll do well with that. I was going to give you some pointers, but maybe reach out to me directly. I'll give you some pointers on that one. I don't want to do it in the group. I mean, everyone could probably fucking read it anyway. There was another question that I'd seen. I'm sure we'll find it.
I'm looking for it now.
Yeah, I've never done this before, but so if you've liked what I've said, I've never done it. I always feel a bit like we're doing it, but if you've liked this thing that I've done, if you've enjoyed what you've learned, drop me a 1 below. This is alien to me. I've never done this before. Drop me a 1 below if you've enjoyed it. Thanks. Yeah, that's doing heavy time. But thank you guys.
I just lost it. There were so many. You did it to me now. You said put the ones in there, and now I lost the question.
sorry. You're back. Oh, look at that, all that love. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Is the guarantee still active about helping us gain $1,000 revenue per month?
I don't actually know what that relates to, but if you're prepared to put the work in, we'll get you to $1,000 a month, no problem at all. And today, yeah, if you sign up, we'll also give you 12-month access to the bi-weekly one-to-ones. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Tommy. I really appreciate it. I liked when we do the coaching, because it's on Zoom. I like to go through and thank everyone personally for joining, but it's all a bit sort of all over the place here. But like Tommy, Nate, Deborah, Billy, obviously Melissa, Merle, Brian, everyone, thanks so much for coming on. You've had to endure my weird accent for nearly an hour and 20 minutes. But I really hope you got something from it. And this isn't just for potential new members, as great as you are, and I hope to see you on the other side, but for the existing members as well. This is as much for you guys as a thank you for your confidence in joining us. I'm really, I feel blessed to be able to keep giving you guys value. And yeah, it's great to see you guys coming back, and hopefully, it might even spark your next earner. So, yeah, and I think we've recorded it as well. My Alexa is British. I don't mind the accent.
You should hear him try to do a country accent.
Oh well.